And welcome to the Inland Sports TV show. The scores are flooding in right now. In fact, I wish I could just hop on my phone and just kind of
read them all off?
Man, all the CIF Southern Section baseball and softball final scores are coming in. If you win today, you move on to the quarterfinals. It's a very big deal, but even bigger than that, the Big Jeezy's back in the house.
I am back. I'll tell you, it's been a long time coming. It seems like the studio's getting colder.
I'm going to hang some meat in here. It's really cold.
No, I will say this. It's great to be back. It's the first time I've really kind of been out of my house. I think the last time I saw you, I was sitting on my couch. My kids were running around like maniacs. I'm recovering from this heart situation. But it's great to be back, and I'm just happy to see you again.
I'm happy to see you, too. You look good, too.
I'm shedding the pounds, fellas.
Where'd you go?
I was telling Pep, it's the first time in 2 years I've been able to close the buttons on this jacket. I feel good. I haven't had a soda in 2 months. I have no fast food. I'm trying my best to be a little more healthy.
Oh, your wife Carla hit the jackpot.
Yeah, maybe.
Man, you're looking good.
I'm gonna have to trade up for a younger one now, a younger wife.
She's already a lot younger than you.
She's 11 years younger. Let's go even a little farther back.
Well, we got a lot of scores to get to. We kind of had the first segment kind of chunked out, but we're going to kind of go all over the place because all these scores are coming in for the baseball and softball CIF Southern Section playoffs. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk UC Riverside men's basketball. Coach Magpio, Coach Bell, they are in the house as well. And somewhere around here, and he'll be here shortly, he's a dear friend of yours and mine, Jerry Hurley, the president of the Riverside Sport Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame, I'll tell you what, and every single year we have all these new inductees, and I seem to have a connection to at least one of them.
You're like, I played baseball for that guy.
I played baseball for a guy that's going in, Bob Porter. His daughter, Becky Porter, went into the Wall of Distinction earlier this year.
Right.
I mean, it's a great story, and Jerry Hurley every single year brings the very best of Riverside and joins this elite class into the Hall of Fame.
And we're also going to catch up with Cal Baptist catcher Rory Smith. He's the pride of King High School. He was the backstop for Steve Madrill over there in the King Wolves for a long time. Now he's at CBU, and he's doing a great job behind the plate, managing that pitching staff, and also doing pretty well hitting as well. So we're going to hear from Rory Smith, the pride of King, now at CBU. But first, let's go to those baseball and softball scores. We do have a rundown. So I know Anthony's probably back there, our director, kind of freaking out. Where are they going to go? And we're going to stay on the rundown, but we're just going to jump around a little bit. We'll start with the high school softball playoffs and some of the big scores coming in, Jeff. Norco is moving on. Big 5-zip win against Vista Murrieta. That was the big game this round. Put on the bib. That was the juicy matchup. As Norco advances, they look great.
Hey, Norco every single year, 2 years ago behind Taylor Dawkins, who was the National High School Player of the Year. Last year winning a championship. They just continue to collect rings. A lot like Thanos. The head coach at Norco is collecting infinity stones, and before long he's going to snap and the entire world will be his.
Yeah, but then we'll just do the whole time machine thing and go back to an alternate reality and just really blow your mind, right?
Do something. Yeah, you just no spoilers.
I just spoiled the whole thing.
You did. Yes, you did.
I just spoiled the whole thing. Okay, so Norco's moving on. 5-zip against Vista Murrieta. Right now it has just gone final. In fact, it's worth mentioning my BFF, and I know he's your BFF, Daryl Trujillo, was at the game covering it for the Inland Sports Show. So go check out the Inland Sports website later tonight, and he'll have a whole recap from Vista Murrieta and Norco.
That guy has his hands in everything. Daryl Trujillo, are you like 7 people? Because you're everywhere. Daryl, just stop. Take a rest. Baseball season, softball season's almost done. Take a rest, buddy.
And you caught up with him at a local fast food place, and I said, Jeff, you better not be eating that fast food.
No, it
was just Daryl, though. Right?
It was just Daryl. No, I was just taking my son after a T-ball game, and who do I run into at McDonald's?
Yeah, sure.
I see Daryl Trujillo tapped me on the shoulder. My wife and I invited him over for a little dinner. We had a nice time. My kids drove him nuts, and then we gave him a ride in the back seat with the Gorham boys.
Daryl Trujillo, the Inland Empire's favorite print writer, right? He's a senior writer. Okay, so Norco wins. They advance. Look for the story on the Inland Sports website. This has also just gone final.
Oh, this is a big one.
Santiago, 1-zip over Lucerna. Savannah Hooks, a complete game, 2-hitter, 10 Ks in the game as Santiago is moving on. In fact, Anthony, we got video of Santiago opening up against Ukaipa in the first round. Jeff, I don't know what it is, but there's something about Big 8 league schools. You can just pencil them in to those CIF Southern Section Championship games. Norco, Santiago. We saw King in a championship game last year. Big 8 league softball is the best.
It's Murderer's Row.
It is.
Great softball, and I'll tell you what, it's the Inland Empire across the board. You look at the NCAA tournament coming up here in another month, and you're going to see team after team with Inland Empire young ladies playing on those programs.
Yeah, all the big-time college programs. You're like Inland Empire player, IE player. They're all over the place in the Big 8 league. A big part of that. Santiago moving on 1-0 against Lucerna. That was a 6-2 win against Yucaipa in their opening playoff game. Also today, and this was kind of a shocker to everybody, we've got a picture of Aquinas High School softball because we were prepared to talk about Aquinas moving to 24-0 on the season, still undefeated, but it did not happen tonight, Jeff.
It's like Game of Thrones. The wall has fallen. Come on. What's going on? How did they lose? They were running through everybody.
Oh, they were.
They were going through Westeros. You don't watch Game of Thrones, but I'm telling you,
I want to.
It was like the White Walkers. They were just walking through, and then they end up losing today. Big time upset.
They lost 2-1 to Rialto. Aquinas not only was undefeated at 23-0 on the season, they were the #1 seed in Division IV for the CIF Southern Section playoffs, but credit to the Rialto Knights defeating Aquinas tonight, 2-1 the final score. So the top seed in D4, the Aquinas Falcons, are done for the season. It was a great season, though. It was a fantastic year, but a little bit short for what the Falcons wanted.
Yeah, I mean, they were the talk of the entire softball world. Everybody thought it was going to be handed to them, but tough loss for Aquinas.
All right, before we move on to baseball, one more softball score, and Jeff, you had to verify this on Twitter.
I did.
Woodcrest Christian, they are advancing. They hammered San Marino 18-7.
That's almost a basketball score, a football score. Come on.
That's a big-time win
it's big time
for Woodcrest Christian. All right, moving on to baseball. Again, a lot of the scores still coming in. I have not seen the Yucaipa score yet, but it's worth noting that Yucaipa is the only Division I school to advance out of the first round from the Inland Empire.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that coach who's coming in, how many wins does he have this year? He ended up with all the places and all the stops. He had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wins.
Was it 400?
I think it was 400. So he's added to that total. And I'll tell you what, let's just pencil those guys in. Pencil the Thunderbirds in to move on.
As you're saying that, I'm going to go on Twitter and make sure that they won. But Ralph Grajeda, first year on the job last year. In fact, Anthony, we got a picture. First year on the job, and what do they go out and do? They won the CIF Division II championship at Cal State Fullerton last year against Beckman from Irvine. So they win the D2 title. So naturally, the CIF bumps them up to Division I, and you could argue that they are probably the top program in the Inland Empire right now. As I'm searching for their score, because I really hope they won. We're hyping them up right now.
They won. Look at that. They're champs. They won again. Come on.
Yeah. Let's see. It sure looks like it. I don't see a final yet, but I'm going to track one down before the end of the show. But Yucaipa, they beat Edison 4-0 in the first round. They were playing on the road at West Ranch, which is kind of like the Magic Mountain area, like Santa Clarita.
Never heard of it. West Ranch.
So we'll see if Yucaipa won. The other Division I school that I thought had a chance of making a deep run was Corona High School, the Corona Panthers. It feels like yesterday I was at Dodger Stadium watching Corona take on El Toro for a Division I championship, but it was Corona losing to Etiwanda in the opening round, and we got video highlights of that one as well. Etiwanda, they came to play. Etiwanda, here's the deal. Etiwanda won a Division II championship 2 seasons ago. So Etiwanda won D2. And then Yucaipa won Division II, and now we've got all the big boys, and that's a big boy.
That guy looks like he's about 35 years old.
We got all the big boys now in Division I as Etiwanda was able to beat Corona High School by a final score of 7-0 in the opening round. So now Etiwanda hosting the top seed Orange Lutheran today. That's another one of those scores. We have not seen the final yet, just like the Yucaipa score, but as soon as we get it, we'll pass it along because these Division I baseball scores, I mean, these are big-time matchups here in the CIF Southern Section playoffs. But Etiwanda reached the D1 quarters last year. They won the Division II championship at Dodger Stadium 2 years ago. So it's not like these guys just burst on the scene. We didn't know who they were. No, they've been pretty good for a long time now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, looking at that player, he looked like he was 35 Remember back in the World Series, Little League World Series, they had the guy that was pitching from like Cuba, and he was like 15.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like 12.
What was his last name? Almonte?
Daniel Almonte.
Was it?
Yes.
Right.
He was a cheater, and I'll tell you what, that guy from Etowanda looked like he was playing in the major leagues.
That's a really good Etowanda team. We'll try to track down that score as well as you Kaipe. A couple other scores that have just trickled in here. Congrats to Summit. Summit winning 3-2 against La Sierra in Division 4. So the Skyhawks are moving on. In Division 5, in fact, I think Johnny Nunez, our big executive producer back there, I think he just said that Rancho Verde has also won. Yeah, Rancho Verde won 7-3 against Ramona today. That was an all-IE battle against your Rams.
Whoa. They lost. They beat my Rams. I can't be happy about that. I was fired up, but we are in the district where Rancho Verde reigns supreme, so we'll give them that one.
Hey, man, we're all Mustangs, right?
Yeah, we are.
So Rancho Verde wins 7-3 today. So we're still getting more baseball scores. Maybe we'll run a couple more past you towards the end of the show because we still got a lot more to get to. Coming up next, UC Riverside men's basketball. We got Jerry Hurley, the president of the Riverside Sport Hall of Fame, because the big induction ceremony is coming up this Monday, and we got all the details on that, and also our exclusive interview with CBU catcher Rory Smith, the pride of King High School. All right, we'll be back here. It's on your favorite show, the Inland Sports TV show.
What's going on, guys? This is Ray Bass from Boost Performance Training. You're watching the Inland Sports Show with the one and only Pep Fernandez.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show. We got all those CIF Southern Section baseball and softball scores, and we'll get a couple more later on the show if we get some more, including some of those big games like Ukaipa and Etowanda playing in Division I baseball. But right now we're talking hoops. It's always a good time to talk UC Riverside basketball. It seems like right when the season ends, I'm ready for more basketball. Like towards the end of the season, and these guys know it's a grind, right? But when you kind of miss it, you're like, okay, I'm ready for more basketball. Mike Magpayo, Coach Justin Bell as well from UCR men's basketball. My first question is, what was so important that Coach Patrick couldn't be here? It broke my heart like a little. I'm heartbroken.
I think there's a playoff game on, and his godson's playing in it. I think that's
Sixers Raptors.
That's my guess.
And speaking of Kawhi Leonard, who's a Riverside King High School guy, we talk about him on the show quite a bit. I think he just released his New Balance signature shoes, but that's for a different day because you guys live the three-stripe life with Adidas at UCR. But so. What are you guys doing this time of the year? Because I figured you guys would be on a beach somewhere or relaxing. You guys doing any of that?
You get a little downtime when the season's over, but right now we're in our spring workout kind of segment. We get our 8 hours, so we get to work the guys out. We have our 4 days a week. We're on the floor, and then we just got finished our spring evaluation period. So going out and watching kids at tournaments play with their travel ball teams and stuff like that.
So, Coach Bell, you were in what cities recently?
So I was in Kansas City.
Okay.
And then I went from Kansas City to Atlanta.
And then, Coach Magpayo, where were you?
I did a little Dallas, all over Southern California, and then made a little trip to the Midwest. I don't want to give it away where I went. Can't tell them where our guys are.
Someone in the Big West right now is like, okay, taking notes here, going to Kansas City. But yeah, it is year-round, right? Because a lot of the times a winning team is built in the off-season, right? You can coach your tails off, but at the end of the day, you need some guys, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously recruiting is the, lifeblood of your program, so you got to make sure that thing stays at a high level, and nowadays that's a year-round job.
Now, Dikembe Martin has kind of been that poster boy for UCR basketball, and for good reason. I mean, just down the street at JW North, where he was a 4-year starter and played on some unbelievable North High teams. I can't believe he's going to be a senior now. Let me start with you, Coach Bell. I mean, what has DK meant to the program? And, hopefully he saved his best for last as he's got his senior season coming up now.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. He's worked hard. Last year he had a really efficient season, thanks to a lot of it. Coach Patrick put him in great positions to score efficiently and effectively for our program. So, kudos to DK. He loves Riverside. His family's here. Obviously, everybody knows that. And his sister played there. And he's been doing a great job this spring, working hard, and, look for great things to come.
And Coach Magpayo, I always saw you working out there with the bigs.
Yeah.
I know we lose Minnow Dykstra. We only had 2 seniors, and Minnow was one of them. But what do the bigs look like going into next year as Callum McCray really grew this year?
Yeah, I know. Everybody always loud. There's like a 6-foot Filipino coach coaching these 6-footers. Callum's been great. I mean, he loves the work. And so he loves to be in the gym, and he's really, we just ran the mile the other day, and he had an amazing time. He killed his goal by 45 seconds. So
wow.
He's shedding weight right now. He's starting to buy into the weight room. And, he's got a chance. He's got a real chance. He averaged 10 and 6 in conference. And, he's just a load down there. But he's with some skill and that work ethic. This guy, he's got a chance. He's got a chance to be really, really good.
Yeah, he really came on strong as the season progressed. More so than anyone else on the team. Did you see anyone else improve from that first game on the road at Oregon State to that last game? Did anyone improve more than Callum McCray on that team?
What? Dragon had started off hot.
Yeah.
And he kind of maintained it. He still finished 47% from 3. Him and DK both are top 50 in the country. DJ McDonald, the local LA kid, he kind of came on and kind of stabilized us and was a good, steady point guard for us and kind of took us through the last 10 games of the season. I think Callum was definitely, he shone bright. DK was pretty steady. And then second would be like DJ McDonald. I think he kind of came along towards the end of the year.
Now, there was a lot of turnover, going into the season. There was quite a few new faces on this UCR team. Coach Bell, are we going to see a lot of, more new faces going into next year? I know there's, DK's back, Callum will be back. I'm assuming Dragon will be back, all those guys. But there is an infusion of some new talented players coming into the program that we're excited to see.
For sure. Yeah, we like our recruiting class that we signed. And obviously, you guys are around our program a lot, so you saw some of the guys that we had signed the previous year who had to sit out this year for NCAA regulations or whatever. But we do like our class. We think we signed a good balanced class. Definitely some talented young kids who we see sticking around for a while and kind of being able to propel us over the top for where we want to go.
Now, like you said, these guys were already on campus. They were with the team. They couldn't play because of the transfer thing, but you already had them kind of in the program,
for sure,
which is probably beneficial, right? To be around Coach Patrick, yourselves, their future teammates, the whole deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was great, especially because they get to practice with us. You mentioned the bigs. Coach McPile was able to work out a couple of them during the year already, so they get used to his voice. They get used to my voice, Coach Patrick's voice, and then just getting acclimated to the school and study hall and weights and kind of everything that we do, so then when the season starts this coming year, it's not a big shock to them. So it's a little bit of a blessing to kind of have them there already. They've seen our game day routines, they've seen how we do scouting reports, they've seen kind of all the little things behind the scenes a lot of people don't see, so that kind of gives them a little bit of a head start.
Before we get to the DP basketball camps, which are coming up, Big Jeezy, are you doing those?
Of course I am.
Yes.
Duncan?
Yes.
He's got like a brand new heart, so he's like a brand new man over here. So he might be throwing it down. But hey, kudos to Coach Patrick. Wasn't he just added to the Australian national team? Their coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean it's the coolest thing in the world. I mean, he's going to be able to coach them this year in the Worlds and then next year in the Olympics. So we just adjusted our whole summer and. It's a big deal. I mean, he's already kind of the big dog over down under over there.
Yeah.
But now it's like just solidified. I mean, he's
who's the head coach for the Australian team? Do you know?
It's bad.
I forget his name. Yeah, I'm not.
I'm trying to think if there's like any famous Australian basketball coaches out there that
it's a lot of good.
Recognize the name.
You know what? It's a lot of good players. And that's what me and Coach Patrick are talking about. You don't realize. I mean, they got you'll have Ben Simmons, and you'll have Thon Maker, and you'll have Dellavedova, and you'll have Patty Mills, and you'll have Joe Ingles, and
Bogut still playing. He's still playing.
Yeah. So I mean, they have Baines, a slew of Baines. So they got
some guys.
7-8 guys who are NBA players.
Dante Exum
ready to compete for Olympic gold medal. So
that's a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Coach Magpie, you got details. I know there's several camps coming up. Before you know it, it'll be June, and we're going to be hitting the floor right at UCR.
Yeah. These can't. I mean, most importantly, we have to get Coach Gorham back. That's the most important.
He's ready to go.
Coach Gorham. We do a little thing called Joe Cool, Joe Hustle to start every camp, and Coach Gorham is a star of that skit. And but yeah, we got 4 camps this year. Obviously, last year we were building it, but it was pretty cool. We ended up getting a good amount of kids every week, and so we got 4 weeks this year. 1 at the end of June that all ages are welcome, and then 3 in July. So it's going to be a great camp. You get to work with. We kind of schedule it so all of our guys will be there. So all the kids get to be coached by our players. Big Callum, the big set. They love the big guys. And Coach Gorham, of course, is out there coaching. We had some tough ones. Coach Gorham, I think we had one kid that broke him one day. What was that kid's name? What was his name? He was great. Yeah. But it's great. You get to coach by the staff, and then we just teach you the fundamentals, and it's super affordable, and it's Monday through Thursday. First one's, when was it? June. It's DP.
We got him right here. Yeah.
Oh,
DP
perfect.
Summer Madness Camp.
Yeah, there it is. DP Summer Madness Camp, and that one's all ages. Really, it's like ages 5 to 17, and then we'll split it up into groups. But you sign up quick because this year it's different. We've got a lot of signups already. So you want to get in there and register at davidpatrickbasketballcamps.com. And then the other 3 weeks are the last 3 weeks of July. So it should be fun. It always is.
Well, guys, I hope you get a little bit of downtime. I know, like you just mentioned, all the cities you've been jumping around from, looking at recruits and whatnot. I mean, because before you know it, it'll be like August or September, and you're like, okay, when's
We were
that
both
first
in
game?
Vegas this week, and don't let Coach Bell.
Coach Bell's like, it's all work. I don't have any fun. It was good to see you guys. Best of luck this upcoming season, and make sure you get Coach Big Jeezy over here on the floor at the camps.
For sure.
Great to have you back, Jeff.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff will join me back up here on the set as we're going to bring in Jerry Hurley. He's the president of the Riverside Sport Hall of Fame. The big ceremony is coming up Monday night. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Inland Sports TV show.
This is Alexander Madison. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
What's going on, guys? Coach Bass here from Boost Training. We have a number of different options to help athletes develop here at the BTC, whether it's our off-season strength programming or it's our general sessions and even our one-on-one training sessions with either myself or one of our coaches here. So if you need that detailed coaching, book your one-on-one session today. Please feel free to contact me directly on Instagram at Boost Training or on Twitter, Boost_Training, or contact me directly here at the gym. Our number is 951-532-4904.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show here at Valverde Teen Vision TV 16. Johnny Nunez, always on the run, doing whatever he can to make the show look good. Anthony Trujillo back there pushing the buttons. We appreciate him as well. And a big thanks to Coach Magpio and Coach Bell from UCR men's basketball coming up for the DP, the David Patrick basketball camps. You'll be out there, right?
I will be working the camps diligently like I did last summer. In fact, I can bring my 5-year-old to camp this year for his first basketball camp. But we forgot to mention one thing. Those guys said they were in Vegas this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I saw Coach Magpio with the world champ.
Who?
Was it Canelo?
Canelo Alvarez?
Canelo Alvarez. He was shoulder to shoulder hanging out with him at the post-fight party.
Magpio was a lot bigger than him, wasn't he?
A lot bigger. So, yeah, I think Magpio would have been a heavyweight compared to Canelo. But it was weird. I saw on Twitter, I said, and then I texted him. I said, what are you doing hanging out with a world champ?
What was he? How did he get in there?
I'll tell you what, those UCR coaches are just too cool.
Man.
Too cool.
They're too big time.
Yes, they are.
All right, speaking of big time, El Presidente. El Presidente is in the house. Jerry Hurley, the president of the Riverside Sport Hall of Fame.
You're a cult of one, but I appreciate it.
Well, hey, you only need one groupie, and I'm in it. So Jerry Hurley's here because the big ceremony for the Hall of Fame is coming up this Monday at the Riverside Convention Center. We've got all the names here. Jerry, it's always so challenging because there's so many big-time athletes, coaches, contributors out of the city of Riverside to actually just pick a couple each year to put in. I mean, it's a challenge, right?
It's a good challenge to have, isn't it? Yeah. After this class is inducted, we'll have 105 inductees into our Hall of Fame. And we still have a good amount of coaches, as you know, over the years. And early on, we were inducting a lot of the 70 and 80-year-old athletes because we were trying to make up for a lot of lost time. And now, all of a sudden, the 30 and 40-year-old athletes have retired, and they've made their names. So we've got to bring that mix in. Hey, these are good problems to have.
No, they are.
And it seems like, maybe it's just because I've been around a long time, or maybe I'm old, but I will say this, all these people, every time I look at these lists, they're always friends of mine. You seem to get guys and ladies that were good friends of mine. Bob Porter was one of my baseball coaches at Ramona High School. Gary Rungo, a good friend of mine. Becky Bell, Jim Schellenbeck. These are all legends to me as a young man.
Bob Porter was Jim Schellenbeck's Little League coach.
He was also my mom's PE teacher.
What do they say, like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Well, we've got I don't know, 2 or 3 degrees of Jeff Gorham for the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
But some great names. In fact, I'm just going to, you talked about Bob Porter. I don't know if anybody's really mentioned this, but his daughter was on the Wall of Distinction this year as well.
Yes.
So father-daughter being inducted into the Sport Hall of Fame and Wall of Distinction. Pretty special. But Becky Bell, I will say this, was one of my childhood heroes. A great tennis player. In fact, played tennis with the boys program.
Right.
And was the number 2 player in the Ivy League at the time. Went on to play at UCLA. Coached UCLA, won a national championship, and has made her name synonymously through the motivational speaking circuit as a great person. She works at the University of Arizona now. She was one of my childhood idols, and it's great to see her.
Absolutely. I've never met Becky, but I consider her a close friend. She's that great on the telephone and in doing everything that we've asked her to do. She was the number 2 player on the boys team. She was the MVP that year, the undefeated Poly team that won league that year. And she's had nothing but success all the way through. The program that you're referring to at the University of Arizona has been adopted by over 1,000 NCAA schools as just a positive motivational tool to get young people to get involved. It's wonderful.
Now, Jerry, there's different categories each year for the Hall of Fame. There's the pre-'70s athletes, the post-'70s athletes, the coach, contributor. I want to talk about the coach for a second, Gary Rungo, who I don't think anyone ever thought he would actually retire from Arlington, but he finally did a couple seasons ago, and now you have a chance to bring him into the Hall of Fame. It's kind of a cool deal where you see a player, a coach, who have really spent their entire career in one place. You don't see that very often. It's kind of a special thing.
It sure is. It's kind of a throwback to the old ways. Coaches kind of came on board with a handshake. And they wound up coaching players, and then they wound up coaching the sons and the daughters of players. And it is a throwback. 578 wins over 32 years. And look at his coaching tree. Look at all the coaches that played for him that are now coaching. And Bob Porter is the same way. Look at all the civic businessmen and leaders in our community that were mentored and tutored by Bob. And now Becky's been at North for 35 years. One of the best, if not the best, activities director.
Yes, by far.
And so, success comes to those people that kind of give of themselves. And we're very fortunate. This might be the most humble class that we've had, because everyone, when you call them, the best day as president is when you call someone and say, hey, you're being inducted into our Hall of Fame. They couldn't have been nicer, every one of them. And there isn't someone else? And so, no, it's their time, and we're really pleased that they're coming in. Just great athletes, great coaches, great contributors.
Yeah, because a lot of these great athletes, they spend their whole career being humble and modest. Sometimes they have a hard time saying, no, the spotlight's on you. You deserve this. You've earned it. It's time to take a little bit of recognition, because it's always, it was my quarterback, or it was my coach. My lineman blocked for me. It's always somebody else. But on this night, no, it's all about you. The spotlight's on you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We want to have them come into town, and 3 of them are coming from Arizona. 4 of them are coming from Arizona. And we want them to just feel special, and it's going to be like the best reunion that we have every year. And they're going to meet people that they haven't seen in 30, 40, 50 years. And it's really quite nice. We try and build in some socialization into the banquet. We have our program, but we also want people to kind of talk about games gone by, and you beat my team, I beat your team, and it's really quite heartwarming. And we want everyone to come out to the event.
Yeah, because a lot of these people do live out of town. This is a good reason to come back. You put all of these, I mean, to me, they're stars. You put all these stars in the same room on the same night. It doesn't happen very often, but the Hall of Fame is the one event that kind of can do that to bring everyone together.
Well, I will tell you that Becky Bell is from the University of Arizona. Derek Rogers is from Arizona State University. Mindy Cal is Arizona State University.
That's right.
So, logistically, we've got to kind of position them.
Do we have any more Pac-12 athletes on this list to separate come Monday night?
Yeah.
Speaking of Mindy Cal, so I put something on Instagram earlier that you were coming on the show and we were going to talk Hall of Fame and stuff, and a couple people were saying, Mindy Cal's, which I believe she has a different last name now, but Mindy Cal's the former star player, softball player at Riverside Poly High School. When I see post-70s athlete, I'm like, she's not that old, but
she's 5'4", and she hit 60 home runs, 60. That's 60 more than you've hit.
That is.
Than I've hit. Combined. Yes. And her last home run was in the College World Series. She hit a 3-run home run in her last at bat as a college player, and they won the national championship in 2008.
You can't draw up a better scenario.
Script out of Hollywood.
Yeah, make a movie.
Yeah.
You can't even draw up a better scenario.
And she's been a winner at every level. She went over to Europe and won. She was on the National Fast Pitch League. They won the national championship in Chicago. She went over to Italy. They won the championship over in Italy.
She's a champ all around.
Every way,
Now, Jerry, don't freak out. Don't panic. I'm not going to spoil it and say the winner of the Inspirational Award.
Thank you.
But Monday night, it's something that the Hall of Fame has done the last several years, where they have an inspirational award giving to a local athlete, someone influential in the community who goes basically beyond, outside the lines, and does something a little bit bigger.
Yes.
How important is it for you guys as a group, as a committee, to recognize some of these athletes out there who are doing much more than, like you said, the 60 home runs or the 100 tackles in a season? It goes beyond that.
Yeah, well, that's very nice of you to mention that. And that's kind of like one of the pleasurable things we have with our executive board, and they voted on that every year. And actually, Jim Clover started that several years ago when the young man, Robert Nava.
His first good idea.
Yeah.
Jim Clover. We love Jim Clover.
And so we've been blessed to honor some truly great inspirational athletes, young Ruben Ayala last year, and then Andrew Tackius the year before. This is our first female that we're honoring.
There's a hint. There's a hint.
And bam, if I get hit in the head, somebody will hit me in the head if I reveal who it is. But it's quite inspirational.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I was so cautious. I was like, I can't even, I want to use like pronouns like he or she, or so I was trying to stay away from it.
Say it. I don't even know who it is. Say it. He, she, whatever it is. Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome come Monday night. That's just
special person.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And we've got a President's Award recipient, and we've got a Chuck Kane Leadership Award recipient. I can tell you those names if you've got some time for that.
Sure.
On the air?
Yeah,
right now?
Sure.
We can say those? Those are okay?
We can say those.
Okay, let's do it.
I am the president, but I do let some state secrets.
There's checks and balances everywhere, right?
Secret Service looking at me. Okay. Our Chuck Kane Leadership Award is Scott Hooks. And Scott has been a realtor in Riverside for 45 years, but he's been a Tiger backer. He played at Ramona. He played at RCC. He ran into one of our inductees on the RCC football field, Bob Geddes.
Yeah.
And he was looking up at Bob Geddes after we ran into him on the football field. And they've been lifelong friends for 50 years.
Wow.
And so it's quite inspirational. Scott is one of the great people in Riverside, just a giver. And our President's Award, which the president gets to give, is Jim Alexander from
Never heard of him.
Enterprise.
You got the sprite.
I've seen him on your show.
Oh, that's right, that guy.
He has been writing since they were hammer and chisel into the rocks. It's about time he gets some recognition. A great guy.
Yes.
Great call. Great call.
We found some papyrus with his byline on it, and so we're going to advertise that. But 47 years of writing the first page of history in Riverside sports, local and national.
Yeah.
And it, with as digital media and print media, I mean, it's a challenge nowadays. He's mastered several.
He's adapted.
Different, yes.
Yeah.
And so I think it's long overdue that we recognize someone like that who just he comes into your house every day or 3 times a week with his articles, and it's not that he's not opinionated. He is, but he
It's part of the job, though.
he's a good read. You know, he's curious, and he's I think he entertains in his articles, but it's very informative at the same time.
And a very good friend to the Endless Sports Show. He's been a great friend to us.
Yes.
Yeah, very good friend to us, and very well deserving. My question is he covering the event, or is he just going as a guest?
He's coming as a guest, and we're checking his typewriter at the door. He can't come in and use that. And I'm not sure if he is going to handle it. I mean, I don't think newspaper writers and people in the press, and you guys are certainly there. You don't want to be the story. You want to report on the story.
Correct.
And so it's going to be interesting to see. We've got a video on him, and it'd be interesting.
Does he have to give a speech?
Yes, he does.
All right, Jim, you better mention the Inland Sports Show.
Yes, you better.
As what really launched your career to that second level.
Right.
No, he's well deserving. So that was an excellent choice, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so it's riversidesporthalloffame.com. That is the website. Is there still time to buy tickets?
There is. We've got to give a count to the Riverside Convention Center tomorrow.
Okay.
So now time is wasting. Go on to the website and order some tickets, and we'd love to have you. You'll be among the top 400 of our closest friends coming to the banquet.
Excellent. Jeff's buying our tickets right after the show. Thank you, Jeff.
I'm ready. I'm excited to go.
You're paying in cash, not check.
I have a bag of quarters in my car.
Hey, Jerry, well, this dude is a bag of quarters.
Big giant bag of quarters.
No pennies. No pennies.
Jerry, it's always great seeing you.
Yeah,
we appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the Monday night event, the induction ceremony. So it'll be good.
Yep. Great. Thank you.
All right, we come back. Hey, we're going to hear from Rory Smith, the pride of King High School, now behind the plate at California Baptist, and he's holding it down. In fact, CBU just beat a Big West Conference school in baseball. It just went final, so we got that final score as well.
I also have the final in the Ukaipa baseball game.
You do?
There's controversy. So let's talk about that after the break.
All right, drama.
Big time drama.
We'll be back on the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
What's going on, guys? Coach Bass here from Boost Training. Letting you know, if you haven't already, check out my new series of videos called 2 cents in 20 seconds, where I'll be talking about everything from strength training, motivation, and everything in between. You can find it on our social media platforms, on Instagram at Boost Training, on Facebook, search for Boost Training, or on Twitter, Boost_Training. Check it out.
think that's paying off. We're definitely getting better by the week. So.
Fastball is in the air to left. Eastburn back, but it's gone. 2-run homer, and it's 3-0 CBU. Got to find a way to prevent a run here, otherwise the ball game's over, and there it is. Navigado scores, and California Baptist wins this one.
And that was CBU taking care of business this past weekend as they swept Utah Valley in WAC play. We are going inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. We do have a Ukaipa baseball score, but I'm going to make you wait till the very end because I want to hear all about
this.
It's
a doozy.
I said, Jeff, don't tell me. I want to hear, for the first time live on the air.
Yeah.
So. But we're going inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. CBU baseball, in fact, they were playing on the road at Cal State Northridge this afternoon, and it just went final. And I mean just like minutes ago, 4-3 win against the Matadores.
Gary Adcock, you're the man.
So a big win there. And, Jeff, this is a nice win. They've had a nice run. They sweep Utah Valley. They go on the road. They beat Cal State Northridge. They've got Chicago sausages and peppers. Chicago State's coming to town, the final homestand of the season for CBU. But they need to keep things going because they're still in the hunt for that regular season WAC championship.
It is a logjam up top with CBU in just one game out of a WAC championship for the regular season. That would be unheard of. I mean, we always know that Gary Adcock is a magician, but he's got great local talent. And in every single sport, we talk about it, the seamless transition into Division I. They're just one game out of a first place opportunity in the WAC.
All right, let's continue to go inside the Lancers. Anthony, we got some video highlights of CBU taking care of business against Utah Valley this past weekend. So here's how it's shaking down in the WAC right now. Excuse me. So in first place is New Mexico State and Texas Rio Grande Valley. They're both at 15-6 in conference play, okay? One game back is CBU at 14-7, but so is Sac State. Sac State, is also in first place at 15-6, but Grand Canyon is also at 14-7. So if you do the math, Jeff, that's 5 different teams all within a game of winning the conference championship.
So if they end up tying, and we've seen this in high school football where they had, like, I think the River Valley League had
Don't say a coin flip.
No, a coin flip, or do they just put them in a big giant ring and they have to fight it out for a championship?
Like an octagon?
Yeah, big octagon. I put my money on CBU.
Well, there's still a couple series left, so hopefully they'll just settle it on the diamond and win some games here and there. But CBU right now at 14-7, just one game back of New Mexico State, Texas Rio Grande Valley, and Sac State, Sacramento State. So it is a log jam, but they are right there. Right now, let's go inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling, as we catch up with CBU catcher Rory Smith, the pride of King High School. He's now behind the plate for the Lancers, and he is holding it down. Here's Rory Smith.
Rory, first off, how special is it for you to be a King guy, a Riverside guy, and to be able to play here at CBU?
It's good being a local guy. All the umpires always ask where you're from, and I get to say it down the streets where I live, where I grown up. It's a good place to be.
Now batting number 27, Rory Smith.
little bit about how playing at King helped you develop?
The coaching staff was always really good there. I was able to learn from a young age, even growing up, like how to play the game right, so it's good. Playing D1 in high school, coming here now.
What about developing here, last year being under Bryce Macy and then getting to go through this transition in Division I?
It's a totally different game when you get up here. You learn a lot. It's the fast-paced aspects. You got to just be ready for it. So it's been big being able to learn under Adcock and Macy the last year.
For your teammates and whoever's throwing, how important is it for you to be at the top of your game?
Oh, I got to hold it down every game for my pitching staff. Without me or without them, it's a battery for a reason, You have to be working together.
I got a lot of Riverside pride, Inland Empire pride. I mean, this is my home. I grew up here, and having Luke, a fellow guy from Poly High School, and come in and do what he's done is good. I mean, you always want to win the local recruiting wars.
Having Rory this season and last season as well, but how big has he been for you this year?
Rory is, you could debate it being our MVP. Once we had some injuries at catcher, he's been, really caught every inning but two the whole entire year. And what a lot of people don't know is he's caught those innings banged up at various different times. Hasn't complained about it. Has caught the blowouts. Has caught the tight games. He's been phenomenal for us.
What makes him so special?
I think Rory brings to our team kind of a different calmness, a little bit of a sense of humor in the tight moments. No secret that we're a pretty intense environment, and I think he does a good job at understanding intensity but counteracting when you need to breathe a little bit too.
Smith, everybody, as we just went inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. Let's check out that series against Chicago State, the final home series of the season for the Lancers. We've got a very special graphic we whipped up.
We do?
It's very sophisticated. Anthony, do your thing. It's going to be a 3-game series. Friday night, fireworks night. Who doesn't like fireworks night? I think it's also first responders night, so big night out there at CBU. Saturday, rally towel giveaway. Get the towels going, right?
I'll be there.
And Sunday, they're going to wrap things up with a noon contest, so a 3-game series against Chicago State. Might be sausages and peppers out there.
On a dog.
Dish. CBU and Chicago State. Here's the good news, too. If you want more good news, Chicago State is in last place.
Yeah!
So CBU could sweep these guys and maybe come out of the weekend in first place, maybe even sole possession of first place in the WAC.
WAC champions. WAC champions.
Jeff, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Good to see you're back. So we got a date Monday night. We're going to the Riverside Sport Hall of Fame. We hope you are too. Remember, if you're planning to go, you need to get your tickets ASAP. You heard Jerry Hurley, El Presidente, say Wednesday's kind of the cutoff. So go to riversidesporthalloffame.com. You can buy your tickets online there, but it's coming up this Monday. You can see those big names that they are going to usher into the Riverside Sport Hall of Fame. So I hope you can join us out there as well. It's a very special night. Everyone gets dressed up. There's great food, lots of laughs, sharing stories, and Jim Alexander will be there too.
The scribe of Riverside will be there.
The President's Award.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive. All right, big thanks to Teen Vision TV 16. We love their studio, although it's freezing in here, but we do love it.
We do have to mention.
We have one more thing?
The Ukaipa baseball.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Ukaipa won 1-0.
Yes!
But there is a downside to that, Pep.
There's no downside.
Because the team that they played,
West Ranch,
has filed a formal complaint and said that Ukaipa did illegal batting practice.
I don't believe
before the game, and so now CIF is going to choose whether or not they win or it's overturned.
I don't believe it because the way I know Coach Grajeda, and we're like this. He knows the rules. I don't believe it. I think West Ranch has sour grapes. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yes, they do.
I haven't talked to Ukaipa. I haven't seen any video, but I'm going to just say that I feel like Ukaipa is going to move on to the next round.
So tomorrow we will know who won between Yucaipa and West Ranch.
Hashtag Yucktown T-Birds Division 1 all day long. For Jeff Gorham, I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you next Tuesday night right here on the Inland Sports Show.